The agenda item tonight, so this is a special meeting of council. Sorry for those of you who haven't been to a special meeting before, welcome to your first special meeting. And it is to consider only the draft budget, and the purpose of the meeting, of course, is to launch the draft budget for purposes of consultation with the public. This is not locking us in. This is merely to start that conversation formally, so when the staff talk to them, they have this endorsed by council for the purposes of consultation. We'll come back to it as per the program that's outlined in the papers after the consultation submissions close on Friday the 5th of June, and I expect it will come to our June council meeting as it normally does, I think every year bar one since I've been here. So that's the plan of that. Any questions on the report? Comprehensive? Does all the stuff we needed to do? If you've got any changes you want, you can do that during the consultation process. If there aren't any, I'll ask someone to move the recommendation on page 1064. Move, Deputy Mayor. Do you wish to get to it?
Look, just briefly, this is a very straightforward process. And I want to say two things. One was that this does not lock us into the budget, and I think that's very important because I've started getting a little bit of correspondence from people concerned about the budget and very keen to have their say. And I think this is a great opportunity. We've got a couple of weeks to do that. We're not locked into the budget. We can see what's happening around us in terms of council rate increases, and that may or may not have an effect on us, but certainly gives us a challenge and something to work towards. But I think the important part of this particular paper is that it goes out for consultation. It's very important that we do that. So that was the first thing I want to say. The second thing was just to thank Jimmy and Chris and staff. It's a very, Councillor and I just talked, it's a very significant paper for probably 3 minutes of debate, but there's a lot of work that sits behind it necessarily. So just to say thank you to staff for their work on that too.
Thank you. We'll have a second. Councillor Lee, who's to speak?
I need to congratulate staff on such an excellent report. I think it needs to be said it's extensive, it's very informative, and as we would say, it's such a shame that it's wasted. It's just a community consultation, so thank you.
I think all of you.
No, I'm not. Wasted on us. Because we're just going to be through.
Oh! Part of the debate, I believe. Any further debate? Councillor Bain.
Shut down. Just because I've been reading the papers recently, there's been talk about the LGA membership and it being discretionary versus operational costs. Will the public be able to comment on that part of the budget?
Yes. Comment on any part of the budget. And the final decision, no matter what the public say, comes down to us, to you. So you can choose to listen to everything but only act on some or act on none, or send the staff back to completely recast the budget. The Act says we have to have the budget, the annual business plan approved by the 7th of August, I think. That was the last date to send rates notices out, I think. Right, so there are dates under the legislation. We are normally well ahead of those dates in order to start a new financial year on the 1st of July. Yeah, but the simple answer is yes. Any further debate? Just from the Chair, briefly, you'll notice that there's an opening statement from me in there. The purpose of that is to try and give people an overview. That's all they read about what's in it that's of interest to them. And if you think there's other things that we should be highlighting in there, so it's a particular project you think, look, I think I'd like to know about that, tell me, and we can modify that in terms of the final version that goes out. I'm trying to get a little snapshot of the capital works in that opening couple of pages, so that's why there's footpaths and roads and the like listed in there, because people tend to identify with that pretty well. And you'll notice towards the back there's the comprehensive details of the asset management plan. So some of you may well have questions about how that plan is constructed and what road or footpath or whatever it is next. I urge you to make sure you're across that and ask those questions of the assets team prior to locking the budget in. Once it's done, that they just get on and do it. To change it mid-budget, mid-year is painful. Okay, any further debate? Councillor Evans.
Just more or less to echo the remarks of the Mayor and also to congratulate staff on putting together the budget process. It's the first budget process I've been a part of, and broadly speaking it's been quite a pleasurable experience. The way we've conducted ourselves as a council I think has been very good. The level of debate and the level of integrity of the budget I think has been high. Given it is going out for public consultation, I would urge the myriad of viewers of this YouTube to in fact look at these budget papers as it's one of the most important documents I think Council produces in a year. It does say pretty much everything we are going to do for the year. In many respects, once it's locked in, it is the mandate of Council for the next 12 months. And for residents that do take a keen interest in the affairs of Council, I would urge them to look very carefully at what it is we're proposed and to give us whatever constructive or otherwise feedback they see appropriate. Again, thank you to the staff. It's been a very pleasurable first budget experience.
Thank you. Any further debate? Okay, back to the mover. Deputy Mayor Group, do you wish to sum up?
Look, I think enough's been said. I certainly commend the motion. Hopefully it's passed unanimously.
Thank you. That concludes the debate. All those in favour? Against? Take that again. All those in favour? Against? It's carried unanimously. Thank you, and the meeting is now closed.